Welcome back to the best division in football with your boys Awthentik and the Beard, the best television show not on TV. Like I promised, I told y'all I was going to rock the Homer Simpson shirt for my man the Beard one time. He picked his Buffalo Bills to not win that game on, Sunday. I forgot to wear it on our recap, so definitely pulled up with it today. And like we told y'all, man, I was going to drop the bomb with the statistics on y'all one time, man, straight up and down. That's exactly what we did on Twitter. We shared a clip. Shout out to Stan for chopping that up for me one time, man. When we shared that statistic on Twitter about Daniel Jones having 36 consecutive regular season games without going back-to-back games with multiple touchdowns, when I tell you people was in their feelings, man, they lost their damn minds on Twitter one time, man. Shout out to all of y'all, man, who've been appreciating the content, dropping all the comments in our comments section, showing us a lot of love, man. I wanted to send a special shout out to the homie Dragon Wisdom. We had a couple of conversations within the comments section that was really dope. He said, I love the way you guys go about doing your thing here. One of the best content creators out there. And another person who gave us extreme kudos, I'm talking about kudos that I'm never going to forget for the rest of my life. Carl Banks hit me up on Twitter, and he said, not that you need my cosign, but just know that you are seen and appreciated. He said, this is from someone who does real analysis and not pot shooting to push a narrative. Keep up the great work. So big shout out to Carl Banks one time, man, keeping his eyes on Awthentik and the Beard, man. And speaking of Awthentik and the Beard, man, let me bring in the best co-host in the country, the strong side to the left side duo, my brother from another mother. Shout out to my Dukes one time. My man, the Beard, is in the building, bro. How you living?
I'm living good. You know what? My mustache has got some serious some hang time going on right now.
I see you. Gave it a couple twirls before the show.
Yeah, a couple twirls before the show just to make sure. Like I can see it on my peripheral, so it's kind of crazy.
That's the test right there, right?
Yeah, it is. That is the test. Now, speaking of tests, there's a lot of tests going on in week 4.
Big facts. Big facts.
Listen, I saw on Twitter too. I forget who you were talking with. I want to say it was Mason, and you were like talking about you was trying to find a way.
Yeah, that was with Mason.
Listen, I'm in the same boat with you, man. The roadmap is like my pen ran out of ink. The pencil is just broken. No eraser. I'm pulling out some like insane directions for this week,
yeah, man,
in order for us to get to the victory. So it's going to be a lot of, tough battles. I think, even Dallas has a tough battle this week. So it's going to be an interesting week to see how, the division as a whole can bounce back after last week going 1-3. So there's going to be a lot of things I'm going to be keeping my eye on for all these games. It's going to be a lot of fun as always. We got a great Thursday night game. I hope, you never know with Thursday night, but it should be a good game tonight. So I rolled some bets out for tonight's game. So we'll see how that goes as well. But big shout out to everybody in the chat. Big shout out to everybody who's watching this right now across all the platforms, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, and of course right here on YouTube. Make sure you guys and gals are hitting that thumbs up, subscribe, notification bell, all that jazz.
All that jazz. Yeah, I even saw like a commercial on TV that was kind of like making fun of content creators. It was like, make sure you hit that bell, in that YouTube voice and whatnot. We try to not remind y'all too much over here, but y'all know what it is. We definitely are grateful to have all of y'all in the building with us today for this Week 4 NFC East preview. This is going to be a really good one. And like the Beard said, man, it's like we're looking for outs and ways to be able to try to find a path for our team to victory. And it's been really tough. I was looking up some primetime numbers, man, for the New York Giants, and it's not looking good. Seattle Seahawks are really good on primetime.
I left that all out because I already know, like in the back of my mind, some of those numbers, and I don't want to beat the horse anymore. I always tell people, everything that has happened once before never happened.
I mean, that's a real optimistic way to look at things. I like that.
I'm just,
So what was the one before for your Commanders? Because y'all are coming off a win, off Philadelphia last season. So did you find that one thing that hadn't happened that might be able to happen?
Well, for us, it's happened once. For everybody else, it hasn't happened. So I'm only hoping to repeat that. Obviously, we have a whole lot of new pieces in place, and as do the Philadelphia Eagles. So it's going to be a tough matchup.
I got some good nuggets for y'all game. I think that you're gonna, maybe lead you. I'll be your passenger seat navigator, help you get down there,
co-pilot.
To our
You're
destination.
always my co-pilot, man.
Most definitely.
You are my life eternal co-pilot.
Hey, somebody was trying to like clown something about the podcast on the post on Twitter and whatnot. And I was like, they were like, you're up here kikiing and ha-haing with a Washington Commanders fan. And I was like, yo, that's literally my brother. And he didn't give me a response back. I thought he was going to be like, you guys aren't bros, blah, 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 blah. But he didn't give me a response back.
There was a lot of those non-response backs throughout that. I mean, I was trying my best, going all over them. I mean, it just when something like that happens, like it's just spreads. Like
it was crazy.
It's like a big tree that just grows in time lapse because it gets reposted and then you watch the quote and then that quote has a comment and that comment has a comment.
Yeah, that was one of our most viewed. I'm going to say it was our most viewed clip we've ever posted of me and you on Twitter. That thing had over 120K on that thing. So not a lot of good. They say all publicity is good publicity. I don't know if this was. A lot of people hating me after that one. I know a lot of people hit that block button on Awthentik after that one.
The best part of the entire thing was, I don't care what anybody says, the fellas on the revival, the reaction.
Oh, the reaction. Yeah, that was awesome.
That right there set it all for me. Like
I'm going to tell you the one for me. It was one dude responded with, and I quote tweeted this one. He was like, people place too much emphasis on touchdowns. Like, my God, I don't know what kind of football y'all watching, but in the football I watch, it's all about touchdowns.
The worst metric to judge a quarterback by is passing touchdowns.
Ridiculous to me, just completely ridiculous to me. But let's get right into it, man. We got about a good hour before we got to get y'all up out of here so we can get y'all to kick off and whatnot and not try to mess up y'all evening. I'm excited about this game tonight, but first and foremost, let's go ahead and talk about the Patriots, man. They're traveling to Jerry World to take on the Dallas Cowboys. All right, dog. This one's going to be a little short, little sweet, man. The Patriots are 1-2 right now, headed to Dallas to take on the 2-1 Cowboys. This one is Sunday at 4:25 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Fox. I got the Cowboys favored by 6.5 on this one. The last meeting, the Cowboys beat the Patriots 35-29 in overtime. It was a walk-off touchdown by CeeDee Lamb in that one. Last week, the Patriots beat the Jets 15-10. The Cowboys lost to the Arizona Cardinals. Let me give y'all one of those right there. I know the Cowboys ain't tripping off that one too much. They lost that one 28-16. This is a big revenge game for a lot of players. You got Zeke Elliott revenge game. You got Brandon Cooks revenge game. You got Stephon Gilmore revenge game. So I know they're going to be looking to go up here against the Patriots and eat pretty well on this one, man. Dallas is looking for their 10th consecutive home victory. Not looking so great after that loss to the Arizona Cardinals, but this is the longest home winning streak since 1991 for the Dallas Cowboys. Bill Belichick is looking for his 300th regular season win. I'm hoping he could get that 300th regular season win so we can keep my New York Giants in the mix in the NFC East. Micah Parsons is trying to become the third Dallas defender to get a sack in each of his first 4 games of a season. DeMarcus Lawrence was the last one to do that. He's still on the team with him. That was in 2017. Cowboys led the NFL in forced turnovers. They still lead after 3 weeks of football with 7 forced turnovers, but they're coming off that game against the Arizona Cardinals last week where they had none. And the Cowboys also lead the NFL with, this one surprised me because their offense hasn't had that much success, but they lead the NFL with 12 drives of at least 10 plays. Cowboys are having a problem in the red zone, though. That's been the biggest issue. So they got these lengthy drives, but they're not ending in touchdowns. In the last 2 weeks, the Cowboys are 3-11 in the red zone. Now, a lot of people on Twitter, I posted a couple of tweets reminiscing about some stuff, and it had Mac Jones in the tweet, so I had a lot of people coming at me about Mac Jones. Is Mac Jones garbage is what a lot of people were questioning. Is he any good? Mac Jones is looking to post his 7th game in a row with 200 or more yards passing. And 200 is kind of like the benchmark for quarterbacks. It's not that great. He just breached that last week with 201 yards on 29 attempts. He had a completion percentage of 51.7. So this is where the stats don't tell the whole truth here. He's got 5 touchdowns, 2 interceptions on the year. I don't know if you saw that little dirty cheap shot he tried to give Sauce Gardner last week.
Cup check.
Yeah, I bet you that is what most of them Caucasians call that, because that seemed like something out of a frat. That seemed like something out of a frat party type of deal. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you know. The brothers don't do stuff like that. We don't do all that, funny money stuff like that. But I know I've been to a couple frat parties down in Frostburg, toga parties, where a couple of our white homies was on them vibes. I remember this one dude. I used to be real pressed about my waves back in the day. And shout out to our good brother, Mark Kukowski. I'll never forget when we were at the toga party. I'm brushing the waves all week, and he comes up to me. He goes against the grain on my waves. And I had to look at him like, bro, just like my man Chris Tucker said in Rush Hour, don't you ever touch a black man's radio. I had to look at him like, bro, don't you ever touch a black man's hair, bro. What is you doing? What are your thoughts on that little, we'll call it a gut check. I ain't going to call it whatever you just called it. And what are you thinking about this game, between the Patriots and the Cowboys?
I mean, listen, Mac Jones is readily, he's a guy that we're just going to go ahead and call a spade a spade. I mean, he's kind of dirty. He's done a lot of dirty.
Yeah, he's got a lot of dirty plays.
He's got a lot of dirty plays out there. Listen, this game it's going to be interesting, because I was a New England defense hater.
Facts.
And Awthentik told me, he said, Beard, listen, they're pretty good, man. They're pretty good on the defensive side of the ball. I said, you know what? I'm going to let this one simmer. I'm going to put it in the pot with Brock Purdy, and, then I'll add Crow. The Brock pot. Oh, my God, that's great. I added some Crow, and I'm here to eat it. New England's defense. Okay? They got 2 top 5 defenses here. Number 4 and number 5, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, but the difference is a turnover differential. New England's going to have to find a way to get some turnovers in this game. It's just going to have to be a must. Dallas Cowboys are number 1 in the NFL in turnover differential at +6 right now. So they're going to have to find a way to get Dak to turn over the ball.
That interception from Dak was their first turnover of the year. Wow.
Yeah. So it's pretty interesting where that is. Now, Dallas Cowboys, 3 offensive linemen banged up right now, center, guard, tackle. That's going to be huge. Matt Judon is playing extremely well now. So he's another guy that you want to keep your eye on this defensive side of the ball for the New England Patriots. Can he take advantage of those 3 guys who are banged up? Now, as far as the playing goes, I'm not sure who's going to play, who's not going to play. Out of those 3 offensive linemen, we will probably know more as we get closer to Sunday. But listen, Dallas is 8th worst, in rush defense right now. They're giving up 131.3 yards per game. The question is, can Ramondre Stevenson and Zeke Elliott take advantage of that? Okay, that's what's going to be very important. New England's rushing offense is not great. It's not bad. 14th in the league right now, averaging 107 yards per game. Okay, Dallas's rush offense, 8th best in the National Football League. Nobody's touched the ball more than Tony Pollard in the entire National Football League. Okay, Dallas is averaging 147 yards per game on the ground. New England's defense, though, rush defense, pretty damn good. Top 10, number 9 in the league. They're allowing 93.3 yards per game on the ground. So for me, this game is going to be won and lost in the trenches, and who can, force the turnovers, because I really wanted to take New England to win this game. As a Dallas
trying
hater,
to find a way, right?
As a Dallas hater, it is like my job, to our fan base. They come here, they expect to hear the Beard hate on the Cowboys, okay?
This is facts.
I don't know what it is, because I feel like coming off of that game against Arizona, like if Dallas is as good of a team as we believe they are, you cannot come off of a loss like that and not show up the next game, right? Like to us, I mean, I'll speak for myself, but I think we can both agree. To us, that Arizona loss is not as bad as I think some people may make it out to be, because I think Arizona's a lot better than obviously what their record says and than what most people think they are. And I think people are starting to come around to that fact also. So I think still, though, it's an embarrassing loss, and you can't come off of a loss like that and not show up at home. I couldn't. I thought about those 2 things, and I was like, everything else got to get thrown out the window for now. So that for me is like kind of like the turning point, like, because I do believe Dallas is a good football team. I think the Patriots are better than I had thought they were going to be coming into the season. So I do think this is going to be a tough matchup for the Cowboys. Good test for them. We talked about this in the beginning of the show. Everybody's got a test this week.
Yeah.
I think the Dallas Cowboys are going to pass this test.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I've been looking for ways to see if the Patriots could win this game. When you see the way that the Arizona Cardinals attack the Dallas Cowboys, I think it leaves some room and it gives you a little bit of a blueprint if you're the Patriots. Can't forget about Bill Belichick in this one, man, looking for his 300th win. I know that's extremely important for him. For me, this is how I look at it. I think the game plan for the Patriots is fairly simple, but will it yield the result of a W is the big question here. Number one, you got to establish the run, okay? Last week, I said stop James Conner. They couldn't stop James Conner at all. 14 carries for 98 yards. The Cardinals ran right at Micah Parsons, okay? So that is the blueprint. That's part of the blueprint. That's the first line drawn on the blueprint. And the Cowboys gave up that 180 rushing yards in the first half. So I think they're going to go and try to attack, establish the running game with Ramondre Stevenson, using Ezekiel Elliott if they can get close down there to the goal line, try to get some early scores, get an early lead. That's how you can beat the Dallas Cowboys. Have them trailing by a touchdown or two, trying to press a little bit, and that's when you can make Dak Prescott make those mistakes that can ultimately lead to a victory. Second, you got to stop the run. You talked about Tony Pollard and his volume. He was sixth in the NFL in first half attempts, number one in second half attempts. I talked about that on the last show. 23 carries for 122 yards, 5.3 yards per carry last week. And the Patriots defense, they've been pretty good. Last week, they held the Jets to just 28 yards rushing on the ground. So this should be a really good matchup. I think the number one matchup to keep your eyes on is the Patriots run defense versus the Dallas Cowboys run offense. Now, you got to get pressure on Dak Prescott, which is very difficult. Teams have not had a lot of success getting pressure on Dak because he's getting rid of that ball really fast. The Patriots have had at least one sack in 22 straight games. It's the third longest active streak in the NFL right now. So I'd look for them to try to get the pressure on him. You talked about Matthew Judon. He's been completely balling out. He's had at least one sack in every game this year. Last season, Judon started the season with a sack in 5 straight games. He was pushing the franchise record. He had 2 sacks last week versus the Jets, and he's got 4 sacks on the season. That's 4th in the NFL. So he's going to be the guy. Judon had Andrew Thomas looking like a preseason bust before that year started, before Andrew Thomas had his breakout year. Yeah. And Giants fans were in panic mode, like, what's going on with Andrew Thomas? It wasn't really Andrew Thomas. It was Matthew Judon. Now, 4, even if the Patriots can do all of that, if they can do steps 1 through 3, right, it's still going to be an extremely close game because the Cowboys are the better team on paper. I think the Patriots are the better coach team. The Cowboys got to clean up the penalties from last week. That's probably their number one priority. You cannot go into this game and have 13 penalties for over 100 yards. You're going to completely shoot yourself in the foot and have no shot. So, to me, the Patriots' game plan is fairly easy. But even with the talent, discrepancies between both of these teams, I think that Dallas could go out here and not play that great of a game and still find himself winning this one. It's a home game. I talked about the streak at home for the Dallas Cowboys. To me, this one should be a fairly easy game for the Cowboys. I'm going to take the Cowboys in this one. I'm going to take them by about a good – I'm going to say they win this one by 11. So let's go – I'm going to go 27-16 Dallas Cowboys.
We're not too far off. I think it's going to be a little bit closer. That's probably just, that deep down hate just kind of creeping through my score prediction. So I have Dallas winning this game by a final score of 20-17.
Just 20. Okay.
Yeah, okay. I think New England's defense is going to show up here. I
feel you.
The red zone statistics that you talked about early on, like 3 of 11 in your last 2 games, like that's not just like, it's a ton of red zone attempts. Like, yeah, I'd understand if it was like 3 of 7, you know what I'm saying? Excuse me, but like 3 of 11, that's brutal. You know what I'm saying? So like, I need to see Dallas find a way to get the ball in the end zone before I start tacking on more points. Now, it's crazy because we've seen what they can do, obviously, but that's when everything is going their way, a la against the Giants, right? So I'm wavering on caution here. Like, I want to see what Dallas can really do when it's all put together. I think this is a really good test for this Dallas team. I'm going to keep saying that because out of the 3 teams, I think the Patriots right now so far are playing the best of the 3 teams that they've faced, including the Giants and the Cardinals, thus being the 3rd one. So
that hurt my damn soul.
I know it did. There's going to be a lot of soul hurting today. I apologize in advance. Big shout out to Brian for the $1.99 super chat. Says, Awthentik, you should have Beard help you move boxes.
Facts. I'm already on it. I'm already on it. You already know. I'm still like my studio right now. Y'all can't even see it. Like, there is shit everywhere except on that wall and that. I kept all that looking all right for y'all. All right? I wasn't going to make it too crazy and cleared off this back table here. But, man, I'm surrounded by all kind of boxes. Shit is everywhere. So I'm definitely working on it, man. This weekend I'm trying to get into this new crib. And Sunday will probably be the last stream from this location. So rest in peace to this location. This was a good spot, man.
Oh, man. What a place, man.
This is where we started it, man. This is where we started the whole Awthentik and the Beard thing.
Oh, man. The work we used to put in. We'll save the reminiscing for another time.
We will.
But yes. Okay.
We will.
Big shout out to Lax for the $4.99 super chat. Says, got offered a trade today. Need some input on it. I would receive Javonte Williams and Josh Downs. I would be trading away a chain. I think he says it a chain.
No, don't do it.
Chain?
I don't know how he says it, but don't do it. I wouldn't do it.
Absolutely.
Josh Downs has been a free agent in most leagues right now.
Yeah.
A lot of people kind of gave up on him. And Javonte Williams started off the year with 2 games under 55 yards. I didn't see what he did last week in the blowout to Miami, so I'm not too hip to his week 3 numbers. But nah, I wouldn't do it. Especially if you have some decent depth at running back, I wouldn't do that.
Definitely don't do it. My guy Cernak's been telling me about A-Chain for a very, very long time as a Texas A&M fan. So I'm starting him this week. But if you guys want to hear more about that, tune in on Sunday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time right here for the parlay.
My StreamYard comments aren't coming in, so I hope you getting them. Keep an eye on all the super chats and all that stuff and what's going on. I'll try to open up a separate tab that has the chat. But let's get right into it, man. I want to talk about these New York Giants bright and early here, man. And we're gonna we got a trivia segment as well tonight. Y'all stay tuned for that. We're gonna do the Washington preview and then also do a little quick preview on the Thursday night game. So let's get right to this one. This is gonna be the Seahawks traveling to MetLife to take on the New York Giants.
Giants are on the board with 11:16 to go here in the third.
All right, man. My favorite time of the show, man, here on Awthentik and the Beards when I get to talk about my New York Giants, who are sitting at 1-2, welcoming the Seattle Seahawks at 2-1 to MetLife on Monday at 8:15 p.m. Why they giving us all these primetime games, I don't know. The Giants are favored by 1.5. And last meeting, the Seattle Seahawks beat us 27-13. That was in October of last year. Last week, the Seattle Seahawks beat the Panthers 37-27. Giants lost to the 49ers 30-12. Geno Smith revenge game number 2. You remember the first revenge game? He thanked Ben McAdoo and Jerry Reese for bringing him in and giving him a shot. And this is also a revenge game for Julian Love. This will be number 1 for Julian Love. The Seahawks and the Giants have split their 20 matchups right down the middle. But the Seahawks are undefeated at MetLife. 3-0 versus the New York Giants, 2-0 versus them Jets. Every time the Seahawks made it to the Super Bowl, they have beaten the New York Giants in the regular season. So this is very telling for them Seahawks if they want to try to go to the Super Bowl this year. Seahawks are 28-12 all time on Monday night. Their 700 winning percentage is best all time on Monday night. When I told y'all these primetime numbers were not favoring the New York Giants, I truly meant it. Since 2010, the Seahawks are 33-14-1 in primetime games. The Giants have a lot of injuries on the board. We had a bunch of guys limited in practice this week, including Saquon Barkley, Daniel Bellinger, DJ Davidson, Azeez Ojulari, Andrew Thomas, and Ben Bredesen was a full participant today. It looks like he's going to get the start on Monday. Seahawks coming in with a couple of injuries. They're supposed to get back 4 players here. Tariq Woolen, left tackle Charles Cross, Kobe Bryant, rest in peace to the real Kobe Bryant one time, and right guard Phil Haynes is also due back in this game as well. Now the Seattle Seahawks offense is putting up 29 points per game through 3. They are 10th in yards per play at the moment. Everything clicks when they can run the ball on that offense. Kenneth Walker III had 156 scrimmage yards last week, 2 touchdowns versus the Carolina Panthers. He has 5 games with 2 or more rushing touchdowns since 2022. It's the second most in the NFL. He has 2 touchdowns in back-to-back games leading up to this Monday night matchup, so we got to find a way to stop Kenneth Walker III. DK Metcalf been balling out too. He had his 10th 100-yard game of his career last week. He had 6 receptions for 112 yards. He had a team-high 6 receptions for 55 yards in the last matchup against the New York Giants last season. He also had a touchdown as well. I don't know if y'all remember this too. Tyler Lockett had 2 big drops in the end zone in that last game last year, but he did end up having a touchdown. Tyler Lockett has 5 touchdowns in his past 4 games on the road. I went back, looked at a couple of film breakdowns. I'm gonna talk to y'all about these before I toss this to the Beard here in a little bit. Try to make this not too long-winded. I was checking out the Football Scout on YouTube, who has some great breakdowns. And he was doing a breakdown on rookie right guard Anthony Bradford, who was filling in for the injured right guard, which is, what's my man's name? I just said him in the opening. Mr. Haynes. He was filling in for him. Now, while filling in for him, this was a rookie in his debut. 75 snaps, 0 sacks allowed, 0 hits allowed, 0 pressures allowed. The crazy thing about this is if Haynes comes back, they're going to have to send this kid Bradford to the bench. Bradford, can we borrow an offensive lineman? I would like to bring Bradford over to New York possibly.
We're right in that line of borrowing offensive linemen with you guys.
Facts, man. And then their left guard, according to the Football Scout, I like to do deep dives with these Seattle or with the opposing opponents, content creators to kind of see how they feeling. And my man was extremely confident about their left guard. Damian Lewis, he said to him that he's a top 5 guard in this league, They got good run blockers. They set up the cutback lanes for Kenneth Walker really well, and they're pretty good in pass pro. Now, let's talk about Geno Smith through the last 3 games. Week 1, he was 16 of 26 for 112 yards, 1 touchdown, only sacked twice in that game. Week 2, 32 for 41 for 328 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, only sacked once in that game. Week 3, he was 23 of 36 for 296 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, only sacked twice in that game. Just looking at those game logs, you can tell that Geno Smith is a guy who's mobile enough. That offensive line is pass protecting just enough. And this dude is not turning the ball over. The New York Giants right now coming into this game have absolutely 0 turnovers on the season. There's only one other team in the NFL that doesn't have any turnovers. Giants offense, and this is what I'm trying to figure out here. Where are the New York Giants going to get their offense from?
That is my biggest question.
It's the biggest question for every fan across the country. And I know when I tweeted out that statistic for y'all about the quarterback what was that, 2 days ago and whatnot, y'all lost y'all damn minds. And somebody came to me and they said something real good in my mentions. They were just like, they not mad at you, bro. They're mad at the performance of their team, and you're giving them the truth. And I think that's facts. The Giants have gone 13 straight games without a 100-yard rusher. It's an NFL worst. And I see you shaking your head over there. That is extremely surprising dating back to last season, the way that Saquon Barkley played. But you got to look at the way that we finished and the non-commitment to Saquon.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? 13 straight games. Shout out to @the Giants Wire. They're the ones who posted that statistic. Saquon has breached 15 rushing attempts just 3 times in his last 9 games.
That right there is the most appalling thing I have heard.
It's horrible. We're talking about a star running back, one of the best running backs in the league when healthy, obviously, and he's not healthy coming into this game. He was not a full participant in practice. I talked about this on the last show, 11 rushing attempts. Last week was the second fewest in New York Giants history. The Giants have scored just 43 points this year. It's the second lowest by just 1 point. Who do you think the other team is?
The Jets?
The New York Jets. So New York, we struggling right now in a major way. Now, on the year, the New York Giants pass catchers have just 2 touchdowns. One of them came from Saquon Barkley, one of them from Isaiah Hodgins. I just want to go over some of these numbers. They're pathetic. Our offense has been so bad. Isaiah Hodgins has 9 targets on the year, 5 receptions, 64 yards, and 1 touchdown. Paris Campbell has 16 targets, and he has 11 receptions for 47 yards. I'm no mathematician. I always tell y'all this, but that is not good.
Is not math.
Math is not math in here. Darren Waller's been our best target. He's got 20 targets on the year, 16 receptions, 132 yards. Jalen Hyatt's numbers are so appalling, it is absolutely ridiculous. He's got 3 targets on the season, 2 receptions for 89 yards. And the person who I said my hot take of the year was going to be that Daniel Bellinger was going to have more touchdowns than Darren Waller. Daniel Bellinger has 2 targets, 2 receptions for 9 yards. And Sterling Shepard has been a non-factor, 2 targets, 1 reception for 4 yards. I don't know where this offense is going to get any productivity from. I think it's going to have to start at the quarterback. And y'all know I talked a lot about the quarterback last time, but I do think we have to hold the quarterback accountable. But also, he's not working with a lot out here. When you look at these numbers from the wide receiver core, which also is dependent on the quarterback, they're not doing much helping him out. The yak last week was completely off. I think it was like 19 yards of yak. The San Francisco 49ers had more yak than the New York Giants had total offense. They had 201 yards of yak. We had 150 yards of offense. Daniel Jones has 13 touchdowns, and this is a bit of a bright spot. This is probably the only good thing I found in digging through all the numbers I was digging through today. Daniel Jones has 13 touchdowns, 4 interceptions with a passer rating of 94.7 in his past 7 home games. 9 passing touchdowns, 4 rushing touchdowns. Jones has 40 or more rushing yards in 4 of his past games at MetLife. So look for a lot of Daniel Jones today. I don't know why they just decided, like, hey, we're giving you the ball or what it is. I talked about this in the spaces earlier with the homies. Like, we're trying to max protect for Daniel Jones because we're trying to cover up the deficiencies of the offensive line. I think they need to just ditch that. Forget this max protect stuff, putting 2 wide receivers out there in route combinations with just limited 2 or 3 wide receivers. Let's go out here. Let's spread this thing out and allow Daniel Jones to drop back. And if it's not there, tuck it and run it. Okay? In max protect, I think that just closes everything. You got more guys in the box. It makes it hard on Daniel Jones to get the rushing yards that we're accustomed to seeing him get. I'm going to talk about the Seattle Seahawks defense just a little bit, and then I want you to talk about what you got here. Now, the defense for the Seattle Seahawks right now has allowed 2.9 yards per carry. They were 30th last season They had the 30th ranked rush
I
defense last
remember.
season.
I remember.
And now they're sitting up there at the top of the league pretty much at allowing 2.9 yards per carry. They have a D tackle who is right up there with our D tackle, Dexter Lawrence. Jaron Reed tied a career high last week with 8 tackles and 1.5 sacks in that win over the Carolina Panthers. And they got a rookie out there, cornerback, Devin Witherspoon, who led Seattle with 11 tackles. He had 2 pass breakups last week. And this dude has been playing really good the past 2 weeks. They're supposed to get Tariq Woolen back. They're supposed to get Jamal Adams back. This is not the right week to be getting all these players back to be going up against my team. You got Bobby Wagner over there with 25 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, 2 pass deflections, and 1.5 sacks in three career games against the New York Giants. And Jamal Adams has 20 tackles, 10 per game versus the New York Giants in 2 games, 3 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, okay, in just 2 games against the New York Giants. So I know that this is going to be an incredible battle for the New York Giants. I'll talk about my keys to victory, but the Beard, what you got on this game coming up?
Listen, this is like the SATs. There are tests. We are taking tests in the NFC East. In the NFC East, it is test week, okay? The New York Giants, this is a test for them, okay? You want to know who this is a test for? I've been pretty lenient, and I've been pretty easy on Daniel Jones for pretty much the entire existence of Daniel Jones. You know, like I've never really bagged on him ever. This offense is horrible.
They're trash.
It's really,
I don't
really
even like
bad.
to call stuff trash. The offense has been trash.
It's really bad. It's bad. It's bad. Okay, look. They have the 5th worst passing yards per game in the National Football League right now.
That's actually kind of surprising.
I mean, don't get it twisted. It's only a few yards of separation, but
I thought we'd be bottom 2, maybe.
I tried to be a little easy on you for
Right.
the soul hurting section here. They only have 2 passing touchdowns in the entire year through 3 games. Just
One of them to a running back, so that ain't too good.
You're going to have to find a way to score with the Seattle Seahawks. You talked about how many points the Seattle Seahawks are averaging per game.
29.
That's 4th highest in the National Football League right now. They're the 4th best scoring offense in the National Football League. Going up against an offense in the New York Football Giants, who we just talked about, is bottom 2 in the National Football League. Okay? They're only scoring 14.3. I remember how I was upset when they were talking about the Commanders would only average like 18 points a game. 16?
Yeah.
The Giants are averaging 14.3 points per game.
It's bad.
It's bad. They also have the 5th highest interception percentage in the National Football League right now.
That's
5th
horrible.
highest
Daniel Jones had the best
percentage.
interception percentage of any quarterback last season.
And I mean, the weapons were upgraded, but the interception percentage.
Allegedly.
Okay. Not only do they have the 5th highest interception percentage in the National Football League, they also have the 5th highest sack percentage in the National Football League. So you're adding top 5 in interception percentage, top 5 in sack percentage, bottom 2 in points per game with 2 passing touchdowns, 5th worst passing yards per game.
It's a lot of bad.
It's a lot of bad, right?
Yeah.
This is the thing, though, right here. Okay? If Daniel Jones wants to turn it around, there is an opportunity for him to do so in this game. This is a game that he has to take control. He has to prove everybody wrong.
Yep.
And he could do it because the Seattle Seahawks defense.
Ooh, I'm going to have some pushback on this. I'm
The
going to have some
passing
pushback on
defense
this.
is not that great. They are allowing the 2nd most passing yards per game in the National Football League right now. They're giving up 328 yards in the air per game right now.
Sounds good, right? Sounds like a good matchup for the New York Giants, right?
I'm trying to give Daniel Jones and the New York Giants, away.
Let me give you some pushback. Let me give you some pushback.
Give me some pushback.
Think about the 3 opponents that the Seattle Seahawks have faced in the first 3 weeks. Los Angeles Rams, they know how to stretch the field. They got Tutu Atwell, my man Puka over there, Matthew Stafford, putting up big numbers, right? They took care of the Seattle Seahawks, and they won that game. Week 2, went up against the Detroit Lions. We know about the Detroit Lions, how many points they be averaging a game. That is a juggernaut of an offense. Had to be a high-scoring game in that one as well. And then you got the Carolina Panthers, who you wouldn't expect much from Andy Dalton, but he threw it 54 times, had to put up some good yardage in that game, throwing it 54 times, I imagine. You throw it 54 times, you better put up at least a good 250.
Do you think Daniel Jones could go for 200 yards if he throws it 54 times in this game?
Yeah, 54, yeah. This the crazy part is that Daniel Jones broke a record for the fewest amount of yards in New York Giants history with 22 completions or more. He had 150 yards on 22 completions. So let me see. You get the 44. That'll put you at, a good 300. So he got to get over 200 if we're getting into the 50s. I'm taking the over on that. I'm going to smash the over on that.
Smash the over.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the competition is definitely better. But look, Daniel Jones is here to be a franchise quarterback, right? He's here to keep getting better at this point in his career, And without Saquon Barkley, I hate to say it because, listen, this offense should run through Saquon Barkley at all times, okay?
Yep.
This team should run through Saquon Barkley as a whole. Saquon Barkley is hands down, without a question, the best player on the New York Football Giants. He's not here.
You might upset a lot of New York Giants fans, because we had those discussions in the summer, and people were definitely putting Andrew Thomas over Saquon. People were definitely putting Dexter Lawrence over Saquon. People were definitely putting Daniel Jones over Saquon. People were definitely putting Kayvon Thibodeau over Saquon. People were putting
crazy.
Xavier McKinney over Saquon. There were people that did not have Saquon Barkley in their top 5 players on the New York Giants this summer.
It's crazy because, listen, as much as I like all those guys, and this is not to take anything away from them as players, right? None of those defensive players are TJ Watt. So I don't want to hear it.
I feel you on that.
TJ Watt is a defensive player that can win a football game. Okay.
Take over the game.
Micah Parsons is right there, too. Let's just be honest. Micah Parsons can win a football game by himself on the defensive side of the ball. Outside of those two guys, I mean, look, even me, I would maybe consider one of the defensive linemen for the Commanders, but I wouldn't even put them there because they have to do it as a unit. They're not that type of player. So all those defensive players that any Giants fans think were better than Saquon Barkley, throw it all out the window.
I like it. I like this gutsy take right here. I like it. Yeah,
because to me, Saquon Barkley can win a game. You can win a game on Saquon Barkley's shoulder. We saw it. The evidence is there. The stats are there. It's absolutely there. And it's just so you're not going to have Saquon in this game. Let's be realistic. He practiced on the side today.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to play in the game. It's a shot because it's a Monday night game, but I just don't see it happening. So Daniel Jones has to put this team on his shoulders. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But he can only do it if the coaches put him in the position to do it. And I thought that your point about the max, getting rid of the max protect, right. I like that. I like that as an idea. Also, call some quick hitting pass routes. Some
you saw
slants,
that with Brock Purdy with the 49ers. That stuff allows your wide receivers to get in open space and try to make big plays.
And listen, Jalen Hyatt. I mean, I don't know, his route trees and this and that and the offense and all these other guys.
It's
hogwash.
It's 7, 8, 9.
The guy has gone out there and he's caught 2 passes. He's averaging 40-plus yards of reception. Find a way. Find a way.
You know what I had in my notes here is treat him like the old number 13, okay? When Odell Beckham came out in his rookie season, right, they targeted him 3, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times. It just kept ramping up right throughout the season. By the time he got to the last game his rookie year, take a guess. It was the most targets that he had on the year, right? Take a guess at how many targets he had. The most targets he had his rookie year.
The most targets he had his rookie year.
In one game.
15.
21 targets in week 17. That's what I'm trying to see. Treat the man like he's who he is. He put the 13 on his back, give him the responsibility. What is it? With great power comes great responsibility. When you put on that 13, everybody was trying to act like it didn't mean nothing. It means something. It definitely means something. And they got to give this kid the opportunity to be able to go out there and make some plays, man.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And listen, I want to be on the side of you guys. I really do. You know what I'm saying? I love you guys as our supporters, the Giants family, the Giants community, but it's tough. There's no I have no evidence that this offense could even score points.
I think it's going to start with the defense. I really do think it's going to start with the defense. Dexter Lawrence has been pretty much the only staple on this defensive line that's been playing up to what we thought he was, right? 15 tackles, that's a team high, 4 quarterback hits as well. And he had 7 tackles in week 3. Kayvon Thibodeau, he got his first sack last week and then kind of got a little quiet there. I want to see a bigger game from Kayvon Thibodeau this week. Less dropping him into pass coverage. I forget who it was in one of the spaces today. Kayvon Thibodeau on 33% of his snaps was in pass coverage. Like, come on, pin your ears back.
That's what they were trying to do with Chase Young at points early in his career too, and it was like mind blowing. Like the best thing that he does is go after the quarterback, right?
Send him after the quarterback.
Thibodeau, right?
Yeah.
So then why would you put him farthest away from the quarterback?
Like, I understand a little bit of it because Wink, he tries to attack you from multiple angles. He lines up a bunch of people in that box, and he wants the quarterback to have to guess where the pressure's coming from. It just hasn't been working. We haven't been getting to the quarterback, obviously. Leonard Williams, pretty decent, but we want more out of him as far as that contract goes. 6 tackles last week. He had half a quarterback sack. And in his 3 career games against the Seattle Seahawks, he has 4.5 sacks. So we need that Leonard Williams. I'm hoping that he could show up in this game. And the Giants have 2 sacks and 0 turnovers this season. You got to fix that.
Yeah.
You got to fix that. You want me to go through some keys to victory before you give your score real quick?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Just run through those keys.
All right, so straight up, right off the bat for me, we got to score early. Like, dog, 6 points in the first half all year long. We don't have 1 touchdown in the first half throughout the entire season so far through 3 games. They got to fix that. And once you score early, you got to score often. This game might turn into a shootout, man. We saw it with the Carolina Panthers last week against the Seattle Seahawks. They were in a shootout, ended up winning that game 37-27. So you got to score often. Score early, score often. I need some type of commitment to the run. I don't need RTDB like the Beard be talking about or like the Philadelphia Eagles been doing as of lately, 40 rushing attempts last week. But can I get like 15? Can I get 20 from all of these, from the running backs, quarterbacks, whoever's out there? Even if you're going to bring Wan'Dale Robinson and put him in the backfield, or Paris Campbell, give me at least a good 15, 20 rushing attempts, okay? Got to find a way to get pressure on Geno Smith. And I think this should have probably been number 1 on my list. Stop the damn run. If you can't stop Kenneth Walker in this game, say good night. This one is going to be over early, because once they get the running game going, I don't know if you saw that throw I posted from Geno Smith on my timeline this past week. Oh, yeah. Not many quarterbacks making that throw in the NFL. Maneuvering, manipulating the pocket, stepping to his right, and buying a little bit of time and making a great throw down the field. Their offensive line is great in the interior, so we're going to have to find ways to get pressure off the edge in this one. We know Dexter Lawrence can get pressure. We know Leonard Williams is feisty in the middle of this defense, but the edge rushers is who I'm very concerned about. Probably going to be Noah Ojulari in this game, so look for Zimenez, look for Kayvon Thibodeau. I'd like to see my man from Isaiah Simmons. I want to see Isaiah Simmons off the edge a little bit. He's been lining up an inside linebacker. And lastly, the X factor of this game, to me, for the New York Giants, especially if you want to go out here and try to score some points, it's Wan'Dale Robinson, man. Seeing him on his routes last week, man, he was running these whip routes, these little Z-out routes, man. He's quick in and out of cuts. Daniel got to put the ball on him, lead him. Stop putting the ball behind these wide receivers, man. You're eliminating opportunities for them to be able to go out there and get yak. Wan'Dale Robinson had 4 receptions last week on 4 targets versus San Francisco 49ers. Utilize that kid. I want to see him get more targets in this game. I want to see Darren Waller continue to do what he does. And Jalen Hyatt, we got to get Jalen Hyatt more targets in this game than he's had all season. 3 targets on a year. I'm sorry, coaching staff. I love y'all, Brian Dable, but y'all got to find a way. That is not it right there. So for me, those are my keys to victory. Wan'Dale Robinson, the X Factor. Shout out to my homie Sal, who said the exact same thing on Rob and Pest channel last night. Wan'Dale got to get the ball in this game if the Giants want to have a chance.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. Utilize that speed of those 2 guys, Hyatt and Wan'Dale. Why not? Right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure you could put together something. You got to get when things are this bad, you just got to throw stuff at the wall and see what sticks,
Facts.
But until things start sticking, I got to stick with the opposing team. So I'm going to go with the Seattle Seahawks in this game by a final score of 27-13 Seattle.
Dang. I love the score, man. I love the score you picked there. I can't pick the Giants to win this game right now. I'm going to cross my fingers and hope to God that we win this game. But I would be doing y'all a disservice to say that the New York Giants are going to go out here and win this game on primetime with everything pointing against it. We need a bit of a miracle here. I'm going to keep it real. With the Seattle Seahawks getting healthy in their secondary, there's no way I can pick them. I'm going to go with the same exact score again until this hits, Beard. Throw it at the wall until something sticks, man. I'm going 27-13. in favor of the Seattle Seahawks in this one, man. They're undefeated at MetLife. Their primetime record says that they don't fear the bright lights. Our primetime record, y'all know, 1-11. It's not looking good. We got too many injuries right now. No way I could pick the New York Giants to win this game.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. Big shout out to Simon for the $2 super chat. Says fantasy question for tonight: Flex Gibbs or Laporta? Listen, I love Jahmyr Gibbs. I think he's going to be a guy, but Montgomery is back. They have not shown the ability to get the rock to Gibbs enough. So I'm going to go with Laporta. I mean, that question was so crazy. It knocked Awthentik out of the stream. But I'm going to go
that one got me excited, bro.
I'm going to go with Laporta. That's who I'm going with in this question, Simon. I actually have Laporta in my same game parlay today for over 4.5 catches. So let's keep our fingers crossed on that.
Beard, are you getting audio from me?
Yes, you're good.
I'm getting audio, but I'm getting audio from you, but it's coming through the wrong input. So I kind of want to refresh this just one more time. I'm gonna be back. That question got me excited, so let me just answer that. Laporta has some great records right now as far as young tight ends go. When we get to that matchup, I promise you, stick around. You're gonna start Laporta. You're not gonna flex Gibbs. Ain't no way. But let me try to refresh before we go back, Beard. And maybe tell them what the trivia, the prizes are going to be tonight while I refresh real quick.
Got you.
Right.
And also, we will get to the other super chats once Awthentik returns. So listen, if you guys are not familiar with Awthentik and the Beard, every Thursday night we're giving away prizes. We got tons of stuff to give away. Shout out to our guy, Vintage Sport Flips, here on YouTube, on Instagram, on whatnot. Make sure you guys, there's links in the description of this video. Go find him. He's got tons and tons of awesome stuff. No matter who your team is, he's got all types of cool sports memorabilia. So make sure you guys go give him a follow. Tell him Awthentik and the Beard sent you. He'll hook you guys up. He has sent me something here. There's something in this box. We don't know what it is yet, but it is for a New York Football Giants fan. We also have Dallas Cowboys prizes, Philadelphia Eagles prizes, Washington Commanders prizes. We are absolutely loaded with prizes. Trivia tonight's going to be lit. So big shout out.
Did I hear you say you haven't opened the box yet? For what
I haven't opened the box yet. No, Awthentik's like, you're not allowed to do that. You cannot not open the box.
Give away something I want. I'm gonna be upset.
Big shout out to our guy Brother L with the $4.99 super chat, says for the love. Appreciate the love as always, Brother L.
My man, Brother L, man. Big shout out to Brother L one time in the building.
Big shout out to NYC 1Ts. For the $1.99 super chat, says, let me get a bacon egg cheese one time in the building. One time in the building for the bacon egg cheese.
Shout out 1T, man. We be having great conversations on Twitter. 1T could damn near start his own podcast. He got the voice for it. He got the knowledge, man. His whole perspective on football is like just really good perspective on the game, man. Big shout out to 1T in the building, man. We appreciate you supporting the channel, my guy.
Big shout out to Mike Glenn, not to be mistaken for Mike Glennon. Mike Glenn for the $1.99 super chat says, Russ Barkley, no chance of winning the next two without him. I'm not mad at that. I am not mad at that.
Man, we got Miami after this. It's getting treacherous right now. Shout out to Mike Glenn one time for supporting the channel too. What's going on, fam?
Big shout out to Chris Peace for the $1.99 super chat. Says, show your love and break out the shirt, Beard. Listen, the shirt will not be broken out until
the Giants beat Washington week 7.
Exactly.
Let's go. Let's go.
That's going to be the plan. So we're going to talk about that when that time comes. But big shout out to Chris Peace. I appreciate you, as always, for showing the love. So 27-13 is the score predicted by both the Beard and Awthentik for this game. Shall we move on to another test?
Let's get right to it, man. We got about a good 20 total minutes. Should we do trivia real quick?
Nah, we'll wait for him. Let's power through the roadmap.
Let's power through the roadmap, man. We're going to talk about the Commanders headed to Philadelphia to take on the Eagles. All right, Mr. Beard, man, let's talk about your Washington Commanders sitting at 2-1, headed up 95 to take on the Philadelphia Eagles, who are 3-0. This one's Sunday at 1 p.m. Eagles by 8.5 in this one, man. That's a big chunk right there, man, considering y'all won the last matchup between these two teams, 32-21. That was in Philadelphia as well, so that's kind of in y'all favor as well. Last week, the Commanders got completely pit bull walked around the block like 4 times, 37-3 from the Bills. The Eagles beat the Tampa Bay Baker Buccaneers 25-11. A reporter asked Jalen Hurts, we might look at a QB throwing for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns in a loss and say, well, the QB was good, but the team was bad. You don't seem to care about that. You seem to only care about, did the Eagles win or did they not win? How did you get to that point? Jalen Hurts had a 2-word response: by losing. I got a famous Gary V quote that I always pull. It's whoever fails the most wins. And a lot of people just don't understand that. And all it means is don't quit. And I think that's a perfect example of what Jalen Hurts is, man. A lot of turmoil throughout his college career and his NFL career. And the dude is here, man. He played in the Super Bowl last year. This kid is balling out. Jalen Hurts is 20-1 in his last 21 starts. The Commanders are the only Eagles opponent with more than one win in Philadelphia since 2020. Philadelphia is one of 3 undefeated teams along with the Dolphins and the 49ers. And Jason Kelce, man, he pushing them Eli Manning type numbers right now. This is going to be his 143rd consecutive start. For an offensive lineman, that is extremely impressive. You know, I always thought about this, and I didn't tell you this on the last show. When they do that, what's the Philly quarterback sneak called? The tush push?
The tush push, yeah.
The tush push, man. You got to think, like, Kelce is in the middle of that, bro. And I'm the type of dude, right? I'm a little claustrophobic, man. Like, if you put me in a small space, like put me in a trunk, I'm a straight panic. I'm going to find my way up out of there. You put me in a coffin like Uma Thurman and Kill Bill, I'm going to find a way to get up out of there. Doing all of that. I'm getting up out of there, okay? Now, Jason Kelce, man, that's definitely a feat for him. The Eagles are the only NFL team with multiple takeaways in each of their first 3 games. Washington dominated the time of possession in that first matchup. I think they're going to need a little bit of that in this game. Eagles dominated time of possession last week against the Bucs, so I think this is going to be the matchup with time of possession. They beat the Bucs in time of possession 38-55 to 21-05. The Eagles offense has been doing some pretty good work, but they also have some things they need to iron out, a couple of wrinkles. Jalen Hurts coming off a 2-interception performance last week versus the Bucs. But the Eagles outgained the Bucs. I got a little typo here that says outgunned. They outgained the Bucs 472 yards to 174. Hurts had 2 total touchdowns in that game, and he had 305 total yards of offense. The Eagles ran the ball 40 times for 201 yards. DeAndre Swift in the past 2 weeks has 44 attempts for 305 yards and 1 touchdown, 16 rushes last week for 130 yards. Beard, what you thinking about this game? You let me know when I got to push button on that roadmap. I'm ready for you, bro.
We're going to go right into the roadmap because everything else will follow. So we'll go right into the roadmap. It's going to be detailed. It's going to be quick. We're going to get there maybe.
Maybe. Shout out to the GPS system unofficially sponsored by Waze.
Yeah, you get on the freeway. What? No, turn right. Get out of the lane. No. Okay, get in position. Just get out the lane.
I love when she says, "What do I do?" That's hilarious.
That's
all right,
pretty
Beard,
much
let's get right to it,
that's
man.
how I felt putting this roadmap together. Listen, okay, I'm not quite sure what great philosopher said this, or if any great philosopher said this, it might have just come to me, or it was Splinter and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But in order to beat someone, you must become that someone. Okay. That is how we're going to win this game. The Washington Commanders must become the Philadelphia Eagles.
You said this at the beginning of the year, too.
I
Sam
did.
Howell,
It's
Hurts,
all
wide
coming
receivers.
full circle.
Okay,
listen. The Philadelphia Eagles are averaging 185 yards rushing per game. That is second best in the National Football League. If the Washington Commanders want to win this game, they need to run the ball for at least 180 yards.
I like it. We're off to a great start.
The Philadelphia Eagles, they're number 1 in rush defense in the National Football League. They are only allowing 48.3 yards rushing per game. The Washington Commanders must become the Philadelphia Eagles and only allow the Eagles to run the ball for 50 yards or less if they want to win this football game. Red zone defense, okay? You can only allow the Philadelphia Eagles to convert in the red zone 1 time. They have the 8th best red zone conversion percentage right now in the National Football League, converting on 40% of their red zone opportunities. Now, Washington got to convert on 3rd down. I need us to convert 60% of our 3rd downs in this game. Philadelphia actually has the 8th worst 3rd down defense in the National Football League, allowing opponents to convert 45.7% of their 3rd downs.
Okay, so that was the Patriots. That was the Minnesota Vikings. Who's the 3rd team they played?
They just played on Thursday night
The
football.
Bucks. The Bucks. Bang. Okay. Just
we
kind
go.
of gauging the offenses. You know what I'm saying? All right.
There we go. Now, we need to hold Philadelphia to 30% or lower third down conversion percentage. Currently, the Washington Football Commanders team,
I like it.
even after the debacle of last week, allowing Buffalo Bills to convert what felt like 116% of their third downs, we have the fifth best third down defense in the National Football League right now, only allowing opponents to convert on 46.5% of their third downs. And last but certainly not least, the last two are going to go together. Okay? You got to hold the damn ball. Okay? Hold the damn ball for 35 minutes plus. The only way to hold the damn ball for that long is to run the damn ball.
Facts.
I'm going to need 30 carries in this game. I want 30 rushing plays in this game. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the roadmap to victory, officially sponsored by Awthentik GPS system. Now, just to kind of wrap all that up together, some things I'm looking for in the Washington Commanders in this game: discipline. Defensively, you have to play disciplined against a team like the Philadelphia Eagles because you do not want to, give up too many gaps. You want to be able to contain the outside edges. We have a tendency to run very wide on the edges between Sweat and Chase Young, so we got to be very disciplined in our run defense. There's no way you're going to hold the Philadelphia Eagles to 50 yards or less rushing unless you're very, very disciplined. Other things, obviously, turnovers. We cannot turn the ball over 5 times in the game. We got to get back on the track of forcing 2 turnovers. I am pleased, though. 5 turnovers through the first 3 games for a team that was in the bottom of the league and forced turnovers last season is definitely an improvement. But we're going to need more because our offense is still learning how to be an offense. And speaking of our offense still learning how to be an offense, I need to see more balance. It just has to be more balance. Way too many pass plays, and I don't mind the pass plays being outweighing the rushing plays at some point, right?
Yeah.
But it has to be a balance within the play calling. You can't call 6 straight pass plays and then 1 run play. 6 pass plays, 1 run play. You got to mix it up a little bit. And the one way that you can also do that is by doing a lot more screens like you did in the Denver game. We didn't see any screens in the Buffalo game. I like to see some screen plays in this game. And last but certainly not least, that defense, if it wants to succeed, it cannot give up the big play. It's going to be tough with guys like A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith, who are absolutely just big playmakers. So try to limit those big plays. And those are if you could do all of those things, you still might not win. So I want to see better. Obviously, I hate to say it. Like some people are like, "Oh, I want to see wins." Yeah, well, duh. We all want to see wins.
Facts.
But listen, we just want to see some progression here. This offense is an intricate offense. This is not Scott Turner's offense. It's going to take a little time for these wide receivers to learn the spacing of the routes and how the play is coming together. Like some of these people think it's just like in, out, fly.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Go over there act like you're in the ghetto. Go to the Buick and turn around. I'll hit you over there. That's how they be thinking.
But it's not like that, and we're still learning how this offense is going to operate in the long run. So
yeah,
I just want to continue to see improvement, and obviously, if you can pull off all of those things that I talked about today, there's a chance. I mean, listen, we did it with Taylor Heineke. We sure as hell better be able to do it with Sam Howell. You know what I'm saying? So
you spoke on the defense a little bit there. As far as like not allowing the big play. The other thing, you got to get after the quarterback. 0 sacks last week against the Buffalo Bills on 32 dropbacks. That's unacceptable. And speaking on the Eagles' rush defense being number 1 in the NFL, you said allowed 48.3 yards per game. Brian Robinson holds the NFL's longest active streak right now. This is surprising just saying that, right?
Yeah.
With 10 consecutive games of at least 50 rushing yards. So you got to rely on him. He's a big dog. Even though when we saw him at training camp, it looked like Gibson's like the bigger running back, right?
Yeah.
But on the field, Brian Robinson obviously plays like a bigger stature running back. Now, Sam Howell's got to clean it up, man. Last week, sacked 9 times. You talked about it. Half of them were probably on him. 4 interceptions. I'm curious to see how he rebounds from this game. Washington has allowed an NFL worst 19 sacks through 3 games. Got to clean that up. A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith, this is the last thing I'm going to talk about here. Last week, A.J. Brown, 9 receptions, 131 yards on 14 targets. Devonta Smith kind of took a little break. He was off for the day. But the week before that, he had 4 receptions for 131 yards and 1 touchdown in week 2 versus Minnesota. Now, I always say this. If was a fifth, we'd all be drunk. And if the Commanders can stop A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith, I think they'll have a chance in this game. I really think it starts with them. If you can limit both of them, because they're obviously going to run the ball and they're probably going to get some yards in the running game, right? You got to limit the big plays like you said, and most of their big plays come from A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith. Definitely got to find a way to do that. I'll give you my score right off the bat. I don't think that the Eagles are going to allow the Commanders to come up there to Philadelphia and beat them 2 times in a row. I just don't see it. I got to take the Eagles here and that. They've been playing pretty ugly football and winning games, that are gritty like that. They've found ways to win those games. I think they're going to beat you guys by about a good 10 points. I'm going to take the Philadelphia Eagles in this one. I'll say 27-17.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I cannot pick the Commanders anymore to beat teams that are better than them until I see some consistency amongst the entire Commanders team, offensively and defensively. So for me, it just like how you would be said with the Giants, like I would be doing the people that watch this that are a Commanders fan a disservice if I sat here and tried to tell you that I think the Washington Commanders are going to beat the Philadelphia Eagles.
Totally.
But I do think that I'm hoping that these coaches do a better job of coaching, because I know that these guys play hard. They play hard for this coaching staff, no matter how much bad things that the fan base wants to say about Ron Rivera. And people are already turning on Sam Howell. They're already turning on Eric
I saw
Bieniemy.
that.
So, like, for me, I have faith in this coaching staff. I need to see some more consistency. I got Philadelphia winning this game by a final score of 20-17.
20-17. I'm digging it, man. All right, let's drop this little sweeper one time, and we'll come back with the trivia segment. Everybody's favorite time of the show, man. Somebody's gonna walk away with a gift that we don't even know what it is.
Yeah, well, if you're a Giants fan, if you're a Commanders fan or an Eagles fan or a Cowboys fan, I got your prizes already open. But this is a new one.
I'm looking forward to it, man. Let's get you full screen, man, and let's take that quick swig and let's go over these rules one time for the new contestants in the building out here.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Authentic in the Beard Trivia Night. We are going to put a trivia question on the screen. The first person to answer that question correctly in the chat will win a prize of their choice. Now remember, ladies and gentlemen, it might look different in your screen than in our screen due to different internet connections and lags. In order for us to be completely fair, we have to go by who we see first in our chat. Ladies and gentlemen, get those fingers ready. It's trivia time.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, today's trivia question pertains to tonight's game. Amon-Ra St. Brown had at least 6 receptions in his first 36 games. It's tied for best ever with what NFC East wide receiver? Let's keep our eyes on the chat, get your thinking caps on, and let's see who's going to get this answer first one time. Shout out to Independent Outsider in the building. He says loves the game show music one time. It's created by a dude who made a bunch of free music way back in like 2000 for the internet, man. This dude has made like $1 million off just giving away free music from donations. Chris Peace and Lax coming in hot with the Des Bryant vibes. Hasbick says Terry McLaurin. I see CeeDee Lamb from Valentino. Chris Peace dropping Amani Toomer.
I see a winner.
I see a winner as well. TPJ Second Generation says it was Victor Cruz. That's not the right answer, but that's a close one. Kevin the PRF said Gary Reasons. Beard, confirm with me who you're seeing one time. Yes, sir. That's exactly who I'm seeing one time. Before we reveal our winner, let's give the answer to this one time. Odell Beckham Jr. also had 6 or more receptions in his first 36 games from 2014 to 2016. Big shout out to OBJ one time. Most talented wide receiver the New York Giants have ever seen. I won't say the best. I got to give my man Amani best dressed Toomer a little bit of props one time. And today's winner, chicken dinner, goes to the homie. Oh, I saw somebody got the answer second or third there. Man, that's tough. That's tough right there. Shout out to the homie, the Beige Boy in the building one time. Gets the W. I believe the Beige Boy's Commanders fan, right?
He is. This stays unopened. I know as soon as we get off the air, I'll text you like, you better open that thing.
Yeah,
we're gonna keep
we'll reseal it, right?
So congratulations to the Beige Boy. He is a Commanders fan. You are going to get this super sick Washington Redskins Super Bowl vintage pen to also go with the vintage pennant. So a pennant and a pin.
Oh,
Pin
that's fire
pennant.
right there.
Pin it. Congratulations, Beige Boy. Make sure you hit me up on Instagram or Awthentik. We'll drop the verbalize the email and get us your address.
You can go Awthentik at allornothinstudios.com if you can't reach us on Twitter. On Twitter, it's at Awthentik and at Tim Walk on Water 2. Shout out to Beige Boy, man. That's a good one. It was going to be one of my nuggets for this next segment in this next game, but I was like, let's just use it for trivia. It kind of lines up with the NFC East. So big shout out to Beige Boy one more time.
And big shout out to Vintage Sport Flips, who is in the chat right now. Make sure you guys are following him. I said it earlier. I'll say it again. Make sure you guys are following him on YouTube, Instagram, whatnot, everywhere you can. The guy has an absolutely insane amount of crazy sports memorabilia. He is the one that has been sending us all these cool items. I mean, listen, no matter what sport, what team, if you are looking for something like for your man cave, something for your maybe
Facts.
a family member, something to wear, a hat. We got some hat stuff that we're going to be showing off to you guys a little bit down the road here.
Can't wait to show those.
Everything. So please make sure you guys show him some love. Tell him Awthentik and the Beard sent you. Go subscribe to his YouTube channel. He's getting really close to 1,000 subs. So big shout out to my guy Keith over at Vintage Sport Flips, one of the best.
Super
dudes
grateful,
out
bro.
there.
Super grateful to have you sponsor our channel, man, with a couple of gifts to give away to the fam, man. We definitely appreciate that, man. I know everybody in the chat is loving that. All right, Beard, we don't even got to take no break. Let's just go right to it, man. Let's talk about these Lions and these Packers, man. How you feeling about this game? Let me give them a little intro one time on it, too. This game is tonight at 8:15 on Amazon Prime. Get your internet connection proper because I don't want to hear no complaints about this one. The opening line had the Lions favored by 1.5 on this one. The series record, the Packers lead 105-75. Last meeting, the Lions won 20-16 at Green Bay. And let's get a little background vibe going for this one, too. This series between these two teams has been really interesting. I'll get to that. But last week, the Lions won 20-6 at home over the Falcons. The Packers won 18-17 at home over the Saints. The Packers' 18-17 comeback victory over the Saints was just the second time in franchise history that the Packers had won a game they trailed by at least 17 points heading into the fourth quarter. So big shout out to Jordan Love, man. He definitely rallied the troops, got them back in that victory. I thought it was going to be Brett Favre who would have it, but it was Aaron Rodgers just like 5 years ago. The Packers have definitely been banged up, man. Christian Watson has not played all year. Aaron Jones missed 2 games. Jair Alexander missed last Sunday's game. David Bakhtiari has missed 2 straight games as well. So they got to find a way to get healthy. I don't know who's going to be healthy for this game tonight, but we'll keep our eyes on that for sure.
Watson and Jones are in. Bakhtiari to the IR.
Oh, that's super, super, super tough for the Packers and all their fans right now. Now, both Packers-Lions games this season will take place on Thursday. We got this one here, and then we got the Thanksgiving matchup that they're going to be doing. The Lions have won the last 3 matchups versus the Packers. It's been a very streaky series here. You had 4 straight wins from Detroit, then you had 5 straight wins from Green Bay, and now you got 3 straight from Detroit. So I don't know if this means we're going to get a 4th straight victory from Detroit. We'll see tonight. This should be a really good game. The Detroit Lions have scored 20-plus points in 12 straight games. They're 1 short of a franchise record that was set in 1995. I don't know if that was maybe Rodney Peete back there, quarterback back then, possibly. The Lions had 6 players last week, they had 6 players last week combined for 7 sacks, man. That's the most players they've had with a sack in a game since 1991. It's a lot of 1990 stuff for the Detroit Lions here. Jared Goff now, we know he went 383 passes without throwing an interception, but he's had an interception in 2 straight games. I know that the Packers are going to be looking to get another interception in this game. Goff has a passer rating of over 85 in 10 straight games. That's the longest active streak in the NFL. Now, I forget who that was talking about Sam Laporta or Jahmyr Gibbs. I'm about to give you some great nuggets from my man Sam Laporta, who we've been talking about on a parlay since the season begun.
Since week 1.
This dude was definitely a sleeper early on in the season. Sam Laporta has 18 receptions. That's the most receptions by a rookie tight end in his first 3 games since Keith Jackson 35 years ago. Okay, that reminds me of Chris Berman. Laporta, he also is the first tight end to have at least 5 catches in each of his first 3 games. Now, the only other player who did that was Aaron Hernandez, and I think he did it in 6 games. I'm not 100% sure. But since then, Sam Laporta is the first tight end to be able to do that. Now, Aiden Hutchinson, he's the first player in league history with at least 10 sacks and 3 interceptions. I don't know how this dude's getting interceptions through the first 20 games of a career. Definitely balling out. A lot of New York Giants fans, they want Kayvon Thibodeau to turn into Aiden Hutchinson. That's been the whole comparison because in preseason, we had a couple of practices with the Detroit Lions. And one of their beat writers said, look, man, you can see Hutchinson is jumping off the screen, and it seems like Kayvon Thibodeau is kind of just another guy out there. So Aiden Hutchinson definitely has had a great start to his career, well worth the first-round pick that they spent on him. And Jordan Love, I can't go without talking about Jordan Love, man. 7 touchdowns and 1 interception on the season. Romeo Doubs is becoming his favorite target. He had 12 targets last week. He also had a touchdown. So I'd look for a lot of Jordan Love, and we'll see what Christian Watson does in his debut for the 2023 season. Beard, what you thinking about this matchup? And you can go ahead and give us a score once you're done.
Yeah, the matchup is going to be fun. I think that these are two teams that, historically as an NFL fan, you kind of root for, like, as the underdog with the Lions and as the Packers, just because they generally have a guy playing quarterback who's one of the best in the league, right?
Yeah. And
I think that, I have been just going crazy for Jordan Love since the day he got drafted. I'm just glad that it's showing signs of working out, because so many times these guys come in as rookies, they either start them right away or they play a little bit, and then it's like 10 games and everybody wants to throw them out to the street. And it's crazy because out of all the stuff that's going on right now, big shout out to CJ Stroud. I saw the move you made. Awthentik and I are playing each other in fantasy football.
These joints right here.
Absolute great pickup. But, I mean, listen, and guys are going to be good and guys are going to be bad. This class is going to go down, I believe, as one of the best draft classes in the history of the National
Right up
Football
until
League.
Next year. Because when this draft hit in 2024, boy, it's a rack of quarterbacks coming out.
I mean, Jordan Love, Jalen Hurts, Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, Tua Tagovailoa. Like, that's 5 quarterbacks that, at one point in the next year could be the 5 best quarterbacks in the National Football League, if we want to be perfectly honest.
Facts.
So Jordan Love, shout out to him. I love what the Lions are doing as a franchise. I love, Jordan Love, and it's good to see Christian Watson back.
Love.
It's good to see Christian Watson back. Laporta's going to be a lot of fun to watch. This should be a fun game. I'm going to stick to my guns. Packers at home.
Going Packers.
24-20 Packers.
That's where I'm going. I think that the Lions offense is going to be a little bit too much for the Packers today, man. And I'm looking for my man Jared Goff to get things back on track. Let's clean it up. No more turnovers, no interceptions. Get back on that 386 game type of, or 386 attempts streak that you were on. I'm going to take the Lions in this one. I think they'll go on the road. They'll shock the Packers. They're coming off 3 straight victories already. We saw this matchup last year, the last game of the year, with everything on the line for the Green Bay Packers to get to the playoffs with Aaron Rodgers out there. Still wasn't enough. A lot of moves and acquisitions have been made by both of these teams. The Detroit Lions parted ways with Swift, and they parted ways with Williams. It's a whole new thing going on over there with the Lions. I'm going to still take the Lions in this one. Tell me your score one more time. What you have?
I got Green Bay 24, Detroit 20.
24-20. I think we're going to get more points than that. I think both of these teams are going to get over 30 tonight. I'm going to go 34-31 in favor of the Lions.
That would definitely be fun. I do want to give a big shout out to Kevin, the PRF, for the $5 super chat. Says, I got the roadmap to guarantee victory. By the way, just curious, is it against the rules to run your base offense from punt formation?
Like 15 yards back in the shotgun so you don't get sacked 9 times? I feel you, bro. I definitely feel you. Y'all got to figure something out, Kevin. That's for sure.
Big shout out, buddy. I appreciate you. We appreciate you. As always, independent outsider with a $5 super chat says, thanks to AATB. Awthentik in the beard. I'm up in my game, and you've helped. I've been on the fence taking Commanders and the 9 points. Now, staying the hell away.
I hope we didn't guide you in the wrong direction. Again, we are not financial advisors.
Hedge your bets when you're going against the Commanders, because, hey, you never know. You know what I'm saying? But big shout out to independent outsider. $2 super chat says, love or golf on your fantasy team? For me, I will go Jared Goff just by 4th in inches, though.
I'm with you. I'm going Jared Goff. Man, Jordan, both of these quarterbacks are pretty good at taking care of the ball, and they putting up big numbers. I think, though, like, your ceiling's a bit higher with Jared Goff. I'd go Jared Goff tonight.
Yeah. Just because we're still seeing Jordan Love and his weapons kind of evolve. That offense has shown to have been stagnant at times, even though, like, they're scoring in spurts during these games and making comebacks and stuff like that, and he's putting up good numbers. But at times, that offense has looked a little stagnant. So, big shout out to everybody in the chat. We appreciate all the love and all the support, as always. We would not be able to do this if it was not for you. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah, man. Big shout out to the gang, man. Y'all make sure follow us on Twitter so you can join us with the shit show that happens over there on that application or X, whatever you want to call it. It's pretty damn bad over there. It's pretty funny over there, too. But yeah, man, salute to everybody in the chat, man. Again, we're very grateful to have all of y'all up here. Salute to Vintage Sports Flips for sponsoring tonight's gift and the Beige Boy for winning our trivia segment. Make sure y'all pull up on Sunday. We're going to be doing the parlay. I'm in a must-win situation with my fantasy sitting
We're playing
at 0-3,
each other.
and we're playing each other. Go ahead,
We're
just put some
both
folks on the
0-3.
bench. Just put some folks on the bench. Let me get this W, bro. You know what I'm saying? I think your team's in a better position than mine is. But y'all know what it is, man, over here at Awthentik and the Beard, man. The way we end every show, we get y'all up out of here for this kickoff, which is about to happen right now, man. Keep raising that bar. Keep living those dreams because the universe flows in Technicolor and surround sound. Rest in peace to the podcast GOAT, my man Combat Jack. And I want to leave y'all with something that my man Marquez Hardison said on the homie Vacha's show earlier today. Let me make this a little bit larger. This is a good quote to leave y'all with. Let me just do a little undoing there. He said, "Be transparent. Rather than dispute their flaws or hide their faults, resilient people are authentic. Their humble, self-aware approach assists them in creating strategies to become better." What is resilience? It is when people are doubting how far you can go, you then go so far where you can't hear them anymore. Ooh. Stay encouraged because lions sleep outside. Y'all be good, man. We'll see y'all on Sunday morning. Enjoy y'all football tonight. Again, we are very grateful. We appreciate all of y'all for pulling up. Hit that like button on your way out. And if you was digging the vibes tonight, make sure to hit that subscribe button and leave some biceps in the chat for the gang one time, man. Shout out to the gang. Y'all know what it is, man. See y'all on Sunday morning. Y'all be good. Enjoy this game tonight. Peace.